I'm hearing an echo, and I'm wondering how I can fix this. So you're only hearing through your ear tubes, right? Me too. And how come I'm hearing myself back to me?
Can you turn down your volume a little bit,
Yeah,
possibly?
yeah, good idea. I think that's better. Now I can
Good.
still hear myself. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Live with Georgia. We are on YouTube. At least I hope we are. I'm about to check. I'm actually
Yes,
using
someone just
the
says hello.
platform. Yeah, you can see us.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Live on YouTube with my Live with Georgia show back in 2021 on this wonderful Valentine's Day Eve. And I have a very, very special guest. Lauren and Jennifer are here. Woohoo! Hi, guys. Please meet my friend and amazing healer, teacher, psychic medium, Angela Bixby.
Hi there. I'm so glad to be here, Georgia. Thanks for having me.
When did we make contact? It was probably this time. Was it
November,
October,
December. Yeah.
November, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, Angela, can you make it to, my December spirit seance? And she was like, I'm busy, but I want to make it in February. And it's like already February.
I know.
Hi. So we've got a few people letting me know that the echo is there. So out. Is there an echo? Yes.
Now there's an echo.
Much louder.
There wasn't before for me.
Let me see what's going on.
Hi, Lauren.
So,
hi, Rebecca. Sorry, you guys. I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to try to keep up with notes. Hi, Jennifer. Lovely meeting you too.
So this is great. You can see, hey, Erin and Danielle, welcome. Rebecca, Linda.
Hi, Danielle.
This is your friend. Wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah.
And Jamie Miss. So I've got to figure out where this echo is coming from. So I'm going to open the floor to Angela. Angela, can you tell everybody who you are, what you do, what you have on offer, and what exciting events you have coming up? Because I adore you. I think you're an amazing psychic medium. I think you're an amazing teacher and healer, and I want everyone to know about you. So please let them know while I try to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Angela Bixby, psychic medium, energy healer, consciousness coach. I had the pleasure of meeting Georgia 11 years ago. In 2010, we met in psychic school in New York together, and we've been fast friends and colleagues ever since. A lot's happened. Georgia was not a mother when we went to psychic school, and now she's a mother times 3. And my kids are grown. They were not grown then. So yeah, we've had a really beautiful friendship and colleagueship.
So true.
Georgia and I did blog talk radio show a few times in, I think, 2013.
It was. We had a whole year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did it all throughout 2013. Yeah, it was lovely. We had a great time. And so, yeah, I'm excited to be here tonight. I'm pretty kind of a purist psychic medium. I take questions and I'm predominantly clairvoyant. I have all of the clairs, but you'll see me looking off camera at the holograms coming through in the air in response to everyone's questions. That's generally how I work. But like I said, I do have all of the clairs. I'm living proof that psychic development can be taught. I did not know I was psychic until I landed in psychic school when I was in my early 40s. And I recognized then that I had been an empath and claircognizant my whole life. And since then, pretty quickly, I developed all of the clairs. And while I love doing readings and healings, facilitating healings with clients, my passion is really teaching and connecting people to their intuition. And so I've had a psychic development coaching program, a consciousness coaching program, mentoring program since 2012, so almost 9 years. I've had close to 200 people come through the program. It's a long-term psychic development program. And one of the things that I love to do that can be hard to do in this field is to facilitate experiences for clients. So my clients learn experientially. We have 4 development circles per week. And so people are just practicing all the time. And I really think that's one of the best ways to learn this skill set. So that's a bit of a plug about me. My website, you can find information on my coaching program and my services at angelabixby.com or energyintuit.com, ENERGYINTUIT.com. I have both URLs. They'll all get you there. And I've got a class coming up. I have not taught any classes in about 16 months. Was a little bit burned out. Have just been doing trance channeling events once a month, working with clients one-on-one, doing coaching for the last 16 months, 14 months. But I'll be teaching a class on Friday, the 26th of February, called Navigating Multidimensionality. And so a lot of the work that I do is in sort of higher dimensions above this third dimension and fourth dimension, fifth dimension and above. And so I'll be teaching about the different dimensions. Since it's my hallmark, I'll be leading people through experiences, through guided meditations to connect to different types of guides and the different energies in the different dimensions. So for that, you can shoot me an email if you're interested in that. Angela@energyintuit.com is how you can get a hold of me.
Angela, can you tell us a little bit about why would somebody want to communicate with the higher levels?
Well, so we all live in the third dimension, right? And when spirits die, they go to the upper echelons of the third dimension and the lower echelons of the fourth dimension. It's not really like this, but I explain it like this, right? It's they're more consciousness fields. So a lot of our spirit guides are in the fourth dimension and fifth dimension and above. Ego and duality consciousness are still really present in this dimension, as we all know, as well as the fourth dimension. When you get up to the fifth dimension, it's really about unity consciousness and universal love. And so there's not as much ego and dualistic thinking. And then sixth dimension is where the ascended masters and the archangels hang out. It's a really, really solid and safe dimension to connect to. If you're working on meditation or connecting to guides, intend that you're connecting to the sixth dimension, and you shouldn't have a lot of riffraff come through. There's still some duality consciousness and sort of good and evil kind of stuff that happens at the higher dimensions, but they're really just higher fields of consciousness. And so it's my belief and my knowing from doing this work that we all have the capacity to connect to all different dimensions of consciousness. And so people that are interested in this, people that are looking to connect to aliens, people that are star beings, galactics as I call them, people that are looking to connect to higher dimensional guides where they're not going to have a lot of sort of ego stuff attached to them, would be interested in something like this.
Wonderful. Well, we're sort of swimming in a crowd of people who love connecting with multi dimensions and guides, and I think I can still hear can you hear this feedback?
I don't hear it, but I'm going to say hello to Pamela Howard. I see you.
So if it's not bothering anybody, I might just keep going with it. Let's see here if this works. Sorry. So how tonight's going to run, because we're having a special free readings night tonight. This is a really special show. Obviously, you've just heard all about Angela and how amazing she is. And I really do hope that if you're interested in her multidimensional class that you sign up, because she's amazing. And you're going to get a taste of her tonight, a taste for her reading style and just her beautiful essence. Irina's here. Rebecca's here. So many good friends are here. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. If you are interested in getting a reading, what we want you to do is pop your question in the comments. If you can like and subscribe, that would be great. Liking the video, I think what that does is it pushes you. If lots of people like a video, it gets pushed into the sort of river stream of, hey, everybody, come and have a look at this video. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of that this year, encourage people to like the video, share the video. Whilst it's live, obviously, there's no point looking at a live video reading show once it's done, because you can't engage with it. But so tonight sort of kicks off a year of Live with Georgia, and beginning next week, I'll be going back to the program that we're all used to and we all love, which is to exchange tarot readings for with $10, and 30% of that goes to a chosen charity. And so we will be choosing a charity tonight, and I hope everybody has an idea of which charity they would love to put into the raffle. So we'll do that at the end of the night, and we'll choose the charity for next month. So wonderful. If you have a question, a specific question, so what we want to do is we want to have as many people get their question answered as possible. And that just means if we make the questions more specific, we can kind of be a little bit more direct and focused with spirit, and we don't waste too much time kind of, giving people a big general overview of what's going on and what they have to look forward to, which is what we sometimes do with the general reading, right?
Yeah, right on, right on. And I tell people that specialty is kind of, or excuse me, detail and specificity is kind of my specialty. I don't ever approach readings. Those of you that are on here that have worked with me know I'm not looking to prove anything to anybody, that I'm connected. I know I'm connected. I really want to get you the information that you'd like on your situation. So I love it if, you want specific information about you and someone else, the energy between them, or, if you're looking at two different jobs, maybe initials of the company, if you don't want to say the names on such a public forum. But that kind of thing, I tend to be able to go very deeply into situations depending on the specificity of your question.
Wonderful. So know that if you have a question. Angela, says Lauren, here we go. I'm going to show this question. I'm curious to know when a being crosses from this world into pure energy who had no voice here, how do you know, understand that it is them? Close to my heart on this one.
Beautiful. I'm sorry for your loss. Most of the time when we're speaking with beings that have crossed over, they're talking to us telepathically. So even if they didn't have a voice when they were here, they'll still come through kind of telepathically as thought blocks and thought forms in our head. I tend to see a lot of images, and so it can be a bit like playing charades with spirit. And so we're still able to communicate. I'm not sure if you're asking for yourself. If it's you and it's around sensing and energy, just because they didn't have a voice doesn't mean they can't communicate with you. So if you're looking to sort of sense them when they're around, or invoke them in meditation, or connect with them through automatic writing, you can really just engage in those practices and trust that they're there. The biggest obstacle to psychic development is trusting and having confidence that it's there and it's happening. So if you're trying to connect with someone that's passed that didn't have a voice, know that if they show up in dreams, or if you feel as though their energy comes in while you're in meditation, that's them, and really just rest in the knowing and the confidence that is them. And that's the best advice I can give. And hopefully I answered your question.
I'm actually Lauren. I know Lauren, and I'm actually in the middle now. Both Angela, did you become a spiritualist minister? Are you a spiritualist? So
no, I trained at the spiritualist school, but I'm not a minister there. I'm a minister I'm a universalist minister, but not a spiritualist minister.
I see. I bring this up because I became a spiritualist minister and really didn't put it into sort of full practice. Now, this is contacting loved ones who have crossed over in spirit, right? And I think you mentioned which dimension they're on.
Upper echelons of the third and lower echelons of the fourth. It's very rare that they cross over and go straight into the fifth dimension. Every once in a while, I've encountered a handful of spirits that have gone there.
Right. And that does happen because there are some family members of spirits that have done that have written books, right? So I recently decided to refresh these skills, and I'm studying with a really good friend who I met up in Lilydale, and her name is Gloria Wyken, and she's just started a 1.5 year long psychic mediumship course. She calls it an evidential mediumship course, and what she really focuses on is providing evidence for the person that's come for the visit to communicate with their loved one, and I believe that it's being able to communicate and bring through personal information that nobody else would know, that you really couldn't pick up on Facebook or wouldn't read in an obituary, and that we're obviously using the same channels. You're using the same clairs that you use to contact any of the dimensions. And the fact that you have personal information coming through from this spirit becomes the evidence that this is the spirit who is there living on this dimension, or that their essence is there. So even if they've reincarnated and are now living another life on the third dimension, the essence of who they were in that lifetime is still available, right?
Yeah, I've got interesting information on that. Yeah, absolutely. I do evidential mediumship myself. when we reincarnate, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. Like our whole soul doesn't leave or leave an imprint or an essence there and come back into the body. We have sort of an oversoul. Picture like a hydrangea bush or something, a flowering bush that's big, and one side, the blooms on one side, maybe can't see the blooms on the other. That something like that represents our oversoul. And when we're going to reincarnate, some particular threads of our oversoul choose to go for whatever reasons, whatever we're going to learn, however we're going to grow the soul morally, and they drop into a body when they reincarnate, and after they've left the body, they go back and they feed the whole oversoul with everything they've learned. And so it kind of elevates and raises the vibration of the whole oversoul. And so this is how we can connect with dead people, evidential mediumship, on different dimensions, even when they've reincarnated. Parts of them have reincarnated into family members. I've had clients say that, well, okay, you're talking to my grandmother, but I think she reincarnated into my son 3 years ago. Yes, she did. It was just sort of parts of her oversoul, threads of her oversoul. And that's how we can have parallel lives. We can have lives simultaneously that are happening.
Right. And how one soul that has reincarnated can reincarnate into multiple bodies.
Exactly.
Wow, this is wonderful. Isn't this awesome, guys? So, Angela, where do you get your information from? How do you know
Source.
this? Source. This is your connection to Source, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of studying and learning.
Hi, Nicole.
I'm blessed in that this is my soul's passion. You know, not a lot of people find that in this lifetime, and I feel really lucky because I did in my 40s.
Yes, you did.
And so I consume a lot of information and I learn a lot. But things like that, I came to the conclusion with my guides. And then I actually was teaching a past lives class, and a student asked me the question about reincarnation. And I explained what I just explained to everyone here. And he said to me, okay, my aunt channeled a book from Archangel Michael, and he told her the same thing that you just told us. And so I say tongue in cheek, I get it from Source, but I do. You know, it's like that's how I've gotten information like that I teach people. And I aim not to be dogmatic, because I think there are so many different ways that we can connect to Spirit and Source and get information and learn. And everybody has different pathways. But that's one that always felt like it rang really true in me. And then I've heard it from other places since too.
Absolutely. And it really lands in a very grounded way. So we've got some more questions. We've got, so Lauren, actually, I think Lauren clarified her question. Let me see, Lauren. So the question then is, here we go. If the child never had voice in real time, how do I connect? Sorry, but it feels to me that he's in a higher dimension. I mean, you make
what's the child's first name? Right? What's the child's first name, please?
Yeah, Lauren, what's the child's first name? So I just want to say,
and that's okay. So
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say that I connect to the souls of unborn children often. And so they never had a voice, and I'm able to speak to them, and they don't show up necessarily the age that they passed, whether they were birthed into this world or not. They show up as pure energy, and sometimes they'll show up. It's so tricky. It's like playing charades with spirits. Sometimes they'll show up, like, for instance, if you lost the child 3 to 5 years ago, they'll show up looking like a 3 to 5-year-old to me. The thing with psychic development and our connections to Spirit is we all have a different way that we connect.
Christopher,
and so just because, okay, beautiful, wow. The way that we all connect is different in individuals. So they'll have different ways that they'll come to us. And so he might present like he's 3 and he's holding up 3 fingers and saying 3. And so it's similar to any spirit that's crossed over, because they're no longer in their body. So they technically don't have a voice anymore.
That's right.
You know, they technically don't have a mouth and vocal cords that they're speaking through.
And they're speaking telepathically.
Exactly. They're speaking in all the ways that we connect with all sorts of spirits and beings, and same with animals and etc.
Yeah, he was age 5. I think so. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Lauren. The thing is you can, if you engaged, well, I don't want to get into a big dialogue with you here in writing. I would suggest engaging in automatic writing, or possibly even play with him. And you can start to color or just write letters or numbers. I don't know if he knew that kind of stuff, but see if he responds, right? So you can write a question on the top of the page. I'd like to connect to the energy of Christopher. Drop into kind of a meditative zone. When you have any kind of thought or you feel as though there's a message coming in, if maybe it's a song lyric, maybe it's a thought or a phrase, write it down and just keep engaging with questions with him in that way. Once you kind of come out of the meditation and review the page, you will likely feel and sense the evidence that you did speak to him based on how he engaged with you. So I would say do something like that, or perhaps use colored pencils or crayons to do that with him and see if you don't sort of draw him in that way.
Thank you very much, Angela. I've got some advice on muting the laptop for my sound because I'm still getting an echo here. Let me see. I'm going to mute and see if you can hear me. Can you still hear me? Oh, is it
Yes.
an echo? Can anyone hear an echo? Let me know.
I'm not answering because I never heard an echo.
Except I can't hear now. I can't hear Angela. So I have to undo that. I have to kind of maybe I'll just put you on super low. Angela, can you talk and I'll hear you?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you now. All right, I'm going to keep you on low. I think thank you very much to our friend Dreaming Miss, who's just helped me from a technological perspective. I usually go live straight on the YouTube studio, and it's very sort of clear cut, very easy, very straightforward. So I'm now using another program to kind of, this is like a middleman. I'm using a middleman to go live on, YouTube, and I'm just not used to it, so please forgive me for that. Thank you, everybody, for coming here tonight. We are taking questions, we're connecting with spirit, we're connecting with source, and amazing information from AngelaBixby.com or energyintuit.com. The next question is by Danielle F. What do you see in regards to my relationship with Mark and I? We have a relationship question. Woohoo!
Go love!
Good luck here. We have Ganesh, who's going to remove all these obstacles. What obstacles? There are no obstacles. There's a tennis racket, a little bit of food. Hope you're going to have a great Valentine's night tomorrow. I think I'm going to get kicked in the butt by Ganesh for calling probably something very sacred a tennis racket. But anyway, please forgive me.
Hi, Danielle. I'm excited you're here. Thank you for attending. I'm glad you get to meet Georgia tonight. So what do I see in regards with your relationship to you and Mark? Is there a future? I do feel that there's a future. He's standing, his energy is standing in front of me. He's smiling. He's got a really nice smile. He's got really nice teeth. Is the way Spirit shows it to me. He feels pretty special to be with you. He feels, I see him dancing with you. It's almost like he feels kind of, do you? Cool. It's almost like he feels triumphant about like,
this is going to be a great night out.
Yeah, it's almost like he feels triumphant because he's like, on the spotlight. He's on this YouTube with us and he's like dancing. He's kind of dancing for everybody, not just you, Danielle. Sorry. Yeah, but he feels like he's a very earnest guy. He's very genuine, and he likes what he knows of you thus far, and he likes sort of where things are going. He's a little bit nervous about, long-time, full-time commitment, but those are his intentions, is the way that I get it.
I see. Do you remember those cartoons where I think it was maybe the cat and the skunk would kind of have this heart beating out of his chest. That's
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
I think he's really passionate about you. And, isn't it great to just live in the moment and be with what's here right now? Often our brains are so sort of, we're so into kind of like reaching into the future, looking for problems, making sure that we can get rid of all these problems, a little bit like what Ganesh does for us, right? If we could just trust that the obstacles will be removed. As long as we stay positive and in the moment, then whatever comes, is meant for us, and whatever doesn't come is not meant for us. And it's a very high spiritual teaching to be able to sit with being in the present moment. And so right here, right now, you've got a guy that's passionate for you. His heart's beating out of his chest. Good fun. Have fun, Danielle. We could all use a little bit of heart beating out of the chest with our loved ones.
And how?
Tell me about your Valentine's Day, Angela. Have you got anything special happening?
Hanging out with one of my adult sons.
Yeah, I'm going to have
Relaxing. We've both been working a lot, so we're both going to relax tomorrow. How
so
about
it's
you,
a
Jojo?
relaxing day. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Valentine's Day takes on a new meaning once you've sort of, had a family, or you're not sort of necessarily in a relationship, and you're not sort of actively making a really, really big sort of deal out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reminder, to love for love's sake, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So we have Mary here. Mary could use understanding insight about things with my friend Anthony.
Sounds good, Mary. If you don't mind my asking, is this romantic in nature?
So let me see. We might have some new messages below. Let us know. I'm assuming that it isn't, because she's, she has said my friend as opposed to boyfriend. But
yeah, that's what I figured. I see him kind of nodding his head no, but I wanted to make sure. There's something going on. He's looking a little bit like he's wounded and kind of turned away from you. I see him looking over his shoulder to see if you're kind of looking, to see if you're kind of coming after him, and if you know that he's upset with you. He's sort of upset with you isn't quite right. He's upset about something, and he's sort of turned his back on you, and he's not really sure if he wants to share it. He seems like he's a little bit wounded.
I'm getting that too. Can I say something? I'm sort of seeing a zigzag in his path, and it looks like he kind of travels that way in relationships. We often, our first relationships were with our parents, and that's where we learnt our programming on how to relate to the other. Once we separated ourselves from our parent, once we actually saw them as a separate human being, because that doesn't happen until you're one. Up until then, there is no separation, right? So so something happened for him where there was some kind of push and pull, and he kind of goes all the way over to the other side. He lives quite a polarized sort of existence, going backwards and forwards with things. That's what I saw for him, if that helps you understand the relationship with him.
And I do get the feeling, yeah, I totally agree with all of that, Georgia. It's fantastic. It's the way he tries to get attention as he goes distant. He tries to do that push-pull, as Georgia mentioned. He's a little manipulative, if I say. He wouldn't necessarily see it that way. He just thinks that it's normal in relationship to sort of pull away to see if somebody comes after him, to see what's going on with him. He's not left you or anything like that as a friend, but he is a little bit in a game. Even if you were to call him on it and ask him why he goes hot and cold with you, he would say, "Oh, me? I don't do that." He would deny it. But I do think that he might even tell you that it's a little bit of a test, and he tests all of his friends that way. And so I do think you guys will talk about it. I think you guys will come back together. I see you guys laughing together, like you're going to laugh about all of this in the near future. But he's okay. Like, I don't think he's got a big issue going on from what I can see. It's more just him turning away to kind of test the relationship.
Yeah, it's like who he is, so to speak. It's his makeup. It's the way he rolls.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that helps. I want to stick with the questions that have just come in a bit of a row. I find with BeLive that if I scroll all the way down, it's a bit like that on Facebook. I don't know if you've done Facebook Lives recently, Angela. You probably certainly. But with your own practice, that you're not sort of spending too much time on Facebook. But when I was doing them, I found if I scrolled to the very bottom, I lost all the messages up before, and that used to happen on BeLive. So I'm going to see if I can continue to get people as you've come in, because I did promise that. If I lose you and I lose your question, please forgive me. Mystic Rose, we've got an Elia Brunner saying hello. Mystic Rose says, I wonder about my communication from my person. So we can assume that your person is either somebody you're lusting after, or you're in a relationship with them, or someone that you're wondering about. Someone sort of close to you, wondering about communication from my person. Are you going to hear from them? What are you thinking, Angela?
Yeah, so this is what I'm seeing, Mystic Rose. I'm seeing them turned away from you, and they're on their phone, and they just keep looking over their shoulder, and they're like, "What? I'm busy," is what they're kind of saying to you. So similar to the last scenario we just looked at with the friend, it looks like your person is sort of in their own space doing something, privately scrolling, kind of taking their time, and they'll come back around here pretty soon. It feels like it's been a little while. It might be 2 days before you hear from them. It's not, it might be that when you hear from them, it will have been 2 days since you heard from them. So it does look like they're kind of aloof and they're kind of, they're aware that they're not communicating with you, but it's sort of like they're keeping something from you. They're keeping private about something. They'll crop back up in a couple of days.
I'm getting something interesting on Mystic Rose herself. I kind of got an image of you taking the telephone and sort of smashing it on the table. So I'm being shown your frustration and not receiving the communication. And you know, it's an energy, right? So when we talk about energy, you're talking about the energy of intuition, right? So the energy of your communication is everything. So when you're feeling frustrated in an exchange, remember that the energy that you're putting out is frustration, and it's creating a kind of resistance. If you want to remove, if you want to kind of open the pathway for communication to come to you, taking responsibility for how you're feeling is the first best thing, right? It's like, okay, I'm pissed and I'm still pissed, and actually, yes, I haven't heard and I'm still pissed, or whatever it is that you're feeling, right? Frustrated, sad, all of those emotions. So clarifying how you're feeling, letting it be and saying, I'm just going to have to, this is it. This is how I'm feeling. I don't know if this person's going to communicate with me, but I want to feel better, right? I want to feel better without them having to contact me. So what you don't want to do is rest your happiness on communication from this person. So I know that you didn't, you actually asked your question with a love heart, and so there's no real, it's just that the image that I saw is maybe you're frustrated that they haven't communicated. And if you can let that go, that will sort of leave a vacuum or an openness, and you'll feel better. And you'll be in a better space to manifest that which you want, because when we come back to source and we're connecting with our source, we feel good, and in feeling good, that which you desire comes to you, whether it's this person that you're your person or another person who wants to communicate even better.
Yeah, very well said, Georgia. And I get the feeling that when your person comes back, they're going to have news that they got a job. I feel like they're waiting to hear about a job, because I see them coming back in going, I got the job, and celebrating with you. And so I think that there's a reason why they're sort of pulled back and being private. And they're just really kind of putting all of their energy into that situation as opposed to into your relationship right now.
There we go. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Angela. I hope that's great, Mystic Rose, and we might see some feedback later on when I scroll back. So we've got a question here from Jennifer Anderson, a good friend. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Jennifer.
That I'm in or living my sacred dream, and I don't feel like I do know what it is. Do you know? Jennifer has a great sense of humor.
Sacred dream, I'm assuming work, or how your service in the world is sort of what I'm assuming was your question.
I think that's what she means, yeah.
This is where I would typically ask someone what they do for work to see how they're getting from one thing to another. When I look at sort of how you're going to get from where you are to your sacred dream, what they show me is really kind of enjoying the sensuality of life is going to be the best path forward to get to your sacred dream. Like, they're showing me you kind of in work that looks kind of, with all due respect, boring. You look kind of bored doing it. You're just sort of like going through the motions. I can hear you kind of going ho hum. It doesn't really turn you on. But once you start actually thinking about what makes you happy, whether it's smelling scents, feeling the heat of the sun in the tropical climate on your skin, like those are the kinds of things that are going to bring your dream, your sacred dream, closer to your reality. And so, similar to what Georgia was saying to the last lovely person on the
Mystic Rose
show that we're doing. Sorry. Yeah, Mystic Rose. The more that you kind of bring that really good feeling energy to the exchange, when you think about what your sacred dream is, the more you're going to bring it to you. So if you find yourself kind of like, oh God, what's happening in my life? I'm not really happy with this, that, or this, or I'd like to have something else that I don't have. The more that you kind of fantasize about the qualities of what you would like for your sacred dream, the sooner it'll come to you. And I really feel that the work that you're doing right now is really just kind of to pay the bills. And so I would say bring some gratitude to that. Be really grateful for kind of that you have, I'm sure you are grateful that you have the position and that you're making the money.
And that there are people who are chasing her to actually have her send them invoices. It's like the money rolls in.
Very well said.
You're
Very
laughing,
well
Jen.
said. Very well said. I do think that there's a lack of sort of sensuality for you, and there's you don't feel connected to the work that you do. You don't feel like you're of service, but trust that you're of service in every little thing that you're doing. But I think that you're going to be approached. Be careful, because I feel like you've been approached and you will be approached for things that could translate into your sacred dream, and you'll say, no, that's not it. What's coming to mind, what Spirit's bringing up, is the parable about, the guy that was stranded in the water, and a boat rode by and said, can I help you? And he said, no, I prayed to God. That's okay. God will come. And then, a helicopter comes down and says, can I help you? No, 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 that's okay. I prayed to God. He'll come. Right. And then a third person comes and says, can I help you? He says, no, 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 I prayed to God. He'll be coming. And all of those were messages from God. Like, all of those were answers out of the situation that he was in, but he thought in his head it was going to look a certain way. And so I feel like that's partly why Spirit's encouraging you to think about the qualities of how it'll feel. Like Georgia said, imagine people are sending you invoices and you have to send them out for your money. And think about the sensual qualities of what you want to do. They keep showing me you smelling these, they're not hibiscus, but they're some kind of tropical flower. And it just looks like you'd like to be in a warmer climate. Like, think about all the qualities of what you would like, where you would like to be, and then what you're going to be doing will come. Something about writing, though, is what I get.
Yeah, she's a very, very talented writer in the work that she's currently doing. And so I am going to send fairy dust. And actually, when would that be? This is kind of like the next bit added to her question, which was shortly after the first question.
Yeah. There's something coming in March. And so it's almost like open up to possibly saying yes to things that you wouldn't have thought you would say yes to. Because I see something around March 10th coming. March 10th to the 14th is what they're showing me. And so I think that that's going to be a bit of a launching pad for your sacred dream. So stay open to the potential yeses.
And I'm seeing a lot of joy and a lot of laughter and a lot of enjoyment. Seeing you dancing, Jen, this is great, great. Right? There's nothing like joy, the vibration of joy, laughter, happiness to bring in. It's almost like it happens when you're not looking.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to hear about
wonderful. This is so awesome, Angela, having you on.
It's
Lauren
fun.
was saying that it was her son that she was asking about. Karina Coper is here. Dreaming Miss says, Angela, this is Anastasia. How can I help people what are my skills, gifts that I could share? I currently feel like I'm doing 1% of what I can do. Thank you.
Hi, Anastasia.
Do you know Anastasia?
Well, yes, but I know a couple of Anastasias, so I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but I think I know which one it is.
We could both type in
there.
Yeah,
I know. Believe it or not, I know a few Anastasias. How can I help people? What are my skills, gifts I could share?
It's interesting. I kind of get her as a natural performer. I mean, I'll let you, if you want to.
You go.
Yeah. You feel like you're doing 1% of what what you can do. Yeah. So I have you as kind of like a natural performer, because Spirit showed me you juggling, and if you're not doing what it is that you love, then you've really got to find the passion. So I feel like I wanted my tarot cards here, but now I don't have them. So interesting that I don't. Here, I'm just going to I'm going to close my eyes for a little bit and have a look at you.
And I'll go ahead and jump in while you're tuning in.
Yeah, please, if you pick something up, because I have you dancing. I have her in a Mexican skirt. I'm not sure if the south part of America is.
Yeah, I get dancing as well. I see you going through your day-to-day, and you're standing there, and it's like, if I can see your full body, which I can in this image.
Me too.
I see your feet really wanting to dance. and the rest of your body's trying to like keep controlled so that you don't show the whole world that you're dancing. And so it does feel like performing is really kind of your jam, and that's what makes you happy. Definitely being in your body and sort of fully embodying yourself within your body is really important for you. And that's a really beautiful way for you to kind of help people. Not that you're necessarily a street performer, right? And certainly at this, depending on where you're located at this time of the year, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere or where we are, which is where it's snowy, you wouldn't be out doing this. But I'm seeing you out on the streets kind of like handing a flower to different people. And you look like you're dressed up like a mime in some of these things. And so if this isn't literally what you're interested in doing, I would say consider all of the ways that you are of service to people and connect to sort of how people are feeling to you when you're offering something to them, whether it's a kind word, whether it's a smile. And I think that you'll increase that percentage off of 1% once you start to realize what kind of an effect you have on people when you're fully embodied in your body and sort of open-hearted and ready to be of service to people.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that you mute, you mute yourself somehow. For some reason, you're kind of you've either been conditioned to believe, and these are the programs our parents give us, right? You have to do as I tell you to do, and so therefore your genuine self and your own, your own unique gifts don't get to express themselves because somebody else is directing that for you. But there's a feeling that I get that you're not, that 99% is because you're not letting yourself express this part of you, and this part of you is actually quite extra, it's quite an extroverted part of you where you want to show the world who you are and that you want to have this direct face-to-face contact with people. Because I saw you in like a salsa dress. I mean, it was really quite beautiful. Dancing and performing with and for people, but for the joy of it, where often when we're children, we're often shut down when we're in our joy. Maybe it's like we're making too much noise for the parents at that stage, or we're not doing it at an appropriate moment. And as sensitives, we kind of shut that part of ourselves down. So I feel like you need to give yourself permission to come out of your shell, to give your natural gifts and talents a chance to shine.
Spirit's saying wear brighter colors too. I get the feeling you wear a lot of black and sort of like, to George's point of saying that you kind of hide yourself or shield yourself. They're encouraging you to even just start with wearing some brightly colored things. It's going to change your whole vibe.
It makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started doing that. I used to wear a lot of black here in New York City when I first moved here. And I mean, New York City, there was like it was like a fashion trend to be wearing black, and some people adore black. But I didn't realize I was wearing so much of it. And I was feeling the need to protect myself because it was such a big city and I felt very overwhelmed. So it's interesting how color can make you feel. And since then, I've just tried to wear every other color that I can just to feel better. Blue is a very calming color, for example, or yellow is a very sort of bright, sunny color, can make you feel really up. So
I love your red glasses.
Oh, thank you.
You're representing very well with the beautiful red glasses, Georgia.
I love that I found these glasses, and in fact, I almost couldn't find them tonight. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do without these red glasses? It's like I won't be myself. I've really gotten used to them. Well, I hope, Dreaming Miss, that we've helped you there. We're coming down to Irina. Hello, Irina. What's a good way to communicate with my grandmother, Ella, who passed on before I was born and who's shown up a couple of times?
Hello, Irina. She's saying through song. I feel like if you were to sort of play the radio game or the music game, like set an intention that you're going to bring through a song that will represent sort of who she was and how she felt, that a song will show up on the radio with messages for you from her. Does that make sense, Georgia, what I said?
Yes.
I'm hearing specifically like opera music. I'm hearing a male opera music. Like I'm seeing her turn on the radio, and I really feel like that's how she would allow herself to feel emotion, is she would turn on the music, and if it was sad, she would let herself cry. That's sort of how she allowed herself to feel the breadth of her emotions. And so anything that does that for you, whether you literally play the radio game or turn on music for yourself, know that she connects to you through music, is what she's saying.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to run down now to see some of these messages. So Dreaming Mist says, wow, that's very interesting. Thank you, which is great. Jennifer Anders says, ooh la la, you guys rule. So awesome. Thanks so much. Great for Jen, says Rebecca. I'm now moving up and seeing if I can catch some questions. So Michelle, we've got a question from you. Jennifer Anderson, I was actually approached for a partnership in something new. You'd love to know. That's great,
Woohoo!
right? So you're tapping it.
Nice. Good.
Awesome. And Jennifer
It's a
said,
yes.
I
It's a hell
write and
yes.
design things. She does lots of writing in her current work, which you picked up, right?
Yeah, pardon me. Yeah, it's pardon me, but they say it's a hell yes. Even if don't get too caught up, Jennifer, on the parameters. I feel like you look at potentially at like a collaboration or a contract, and 3 out of 5 things you're like, that's not quite right. Work with the person or say yes and just kind of let the other 2 things go, like find a way to be okay with them, because I feel like the more that you do these things, it's going to lead to more and more, and you're going to feel as though you're living your sacred dream.
Super. So I'm up and up. Oh, this is awesome. So Rebecca, I've got your question. How did my sweet, magical 3-year-old rescue dog from Colorado named Lou Willie know to come into my life in New York City 5 weeks ago? I had asked, of course, for a dog who could be a therapy dog. Thank you.
Sorry, I often see this with animals. They'll show up like people or with very humanistic qualities. And I see him arriving in New York and he's like howling at the moon. He says he answered your call. Like he heard the call. I feel like maybe you put out new moon wishes, right? At the new moon, and we're like intending that you would attract this dog. And he heard the call. I see him like getting off a bus in New York City and he's howling at the moon. And I just see him like running around and finding you. He's saying it was fated. I mean, if he could be a human, he would. He really deems himself kind of a human. And he's just saying, I'm a lucky dog. I'm a lucky dog about being with you. Like I see him with a big old sloppy tongue, like on your lap, licking your face. So he's just saying it was fated. It was written in the stars. We were meant to be together. You called me and I answered the call.
Like really, this is exactly how it was. Rebecca told me the story and it was just, a true Valentine's Day love story. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. And he's the most good-looking dog you've ever seen. Gorgeous floppy ears, gorgeous color, and
Beautiful.
white and this beautiful caramel color. He's adorable. I'm so happy for you, Rebecca.
He says he's happier than you. He does that whole, no, I love you more. No, I love you more. No,
Oh,
I'm
my
happier
Lord.
than you are. No, I'm happier than you are. He's really, you met your soulmate in him for sure.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So happy for you. Now, how's he going to be? So will he be a good therapy dog? This is a question I'm asking for Rebecca.
Yeah, so he can get serious when he needs to, is my sense. Like I see him sort of healing and being good in the city, but he'd prefer to play and dance with you. Just so you know, like again, if he were a human, you guys would be dancing and drinking wine till all hours of the morning. So he really prefers kind of the hedonistic side of life, but he can sort of heal well and do well and be of purpose well. He does really well with reward because I see him being out in the city and he'll kind of look at you and think, did I do good? Did I do good? And so he appreciates reward. He responds very well to reward.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing he's savvy. He's very savvy. So you might be surprised at how much he will learn to be of service as a therapy dog.
Oh.
It's almost like he understands language more than some dogs. I have no idea. I don't have a dog because I'm allergic, but I don't know if dogs understand a certain amount of words from their owners. If they understand 10,
they actually do.
17. Yeah. So he can understand like almost twice as many words as other common dogs.
Wow.
So he's very, very smart and he responds well. He'll be able to respond well to words and cues and direction. So just know that you can kind of push the envelope with what he's taught. He has the capacity for it.
Fantastic. I hope everybody is as impressed with Angela as I am and always have been. So please know she is available for readings, angelabixby.com. And she has an event coming up on, was it the 27th of February?
26th, that's a Friday night. Navigating multidimensionality.
Navigating
the multiverse. Sorry. Yeah.
And you have the event on your webpage, or will people email you about it?
Email me about it, and I'll send you the
Angela
information.
at
energyintuit.com.
energyintuit.com. Great. Awesome.
Like, I think it's on the events calendar on my website. It's buried, so it's not easy to find. It's easier to just email me.
I know. I think it's like it's almost like we're so used to now just kind of like either having the one page or just being available either by video or by a Facebook Live. And this instant communication, people don't really go to web pages so much. I mean, they kind of do, but they don't. And if they have to navigate, and this is kind of, maybe I'm just talking about myself, if I have to go through more than just one page to find something, it's like it's too hard.
That's why I say just email me. I relate.
Exactly.
Keep it simple.
So
yeah.
You'll get a feel of Angela, but if you want to do her course or you want to take or you want to get a reading from her, email her is the best way. Perfect. We have Casey A. I'm trying to find what
Hi, Casey.
About. Do you know Casey?
Yes, I do.
She's gorgeous. And I'm wondering if there is anything that shows a change in my career in the upcoming months. So hang on a second. Casey continues saying, hello, I feel like I've grown a lot this past year in a spiritual way and believe I'm on the right path because I see many signs and synchronicities.
Beautiful.
So then let's just have a look, because you feel like there's a change in your career coming. You're seeing the synchronicities, and so it's a little bit like sometimes we go and we ask these questions because we need validation for what it is that we're already sensing and feeling, right? Because if she knows you, I'm assuming it's because she's either a student or she's had some readings with you, and as a student, she's going to be accessing her intuition. But anyway,
she's a client. Yeah, she's a client, Casey is. And I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in, Georgia, on you. What I'm seeing you doing, Casey, because I don't necessarily know these things about Casey. Just kind of an FYI, because she comes to me we've had some readings together and things, and she comes to my group events. But I'm seeing you shuffling tarot cards. I'm seeing you shuffling cards. And I'm seeing you doing it like at night, and your partner's like, hey, are you coming for dinner? And you're like, just a minute. And you're sort of like doing one more reading. There's someone sitting across the table from you. So my sense is that you might really enjoy flipping tarot cards for people, reading tarot cards for people. But my sense is that you're not going to have a career change until 2023 is what Spirit's saying. And so work on what you love to do now. If this is tarot cards, if you like to do this, like study it, learn it, do readings on the side. And it'll be about 2023 when you might flip from doing what you're doing now full-time to doing what you really love full-time.
Tune into my show every Saturday night. Once we get going, we actually review, every card in the tarot deck, the 78 cards. I'll probably group some of them together, but we've been doing the major arcana since July of last year, and at the end of every one of my videos, or most of them, we review each card, and so you get a lot of information from that time. If you wanted to study with me, please come along, join me every Saturday night. It's a lot of fun. And sometimes if I know people have their tarot cards, then we sort of practice readings if there's time. I get to, people type in what they're getting in the cards that they've received. So it'd be great to have you. Join us.
Yeah, Georgia's an excellent teacher, Casey. Shannon, who you know, a student of mine and a colleague who we do awakening circles together. Shannon is one of many people that I've sent to Georgia who's trained with Georgia for tarot card reading. Georgia's an excellent teacher.
Yeah, we will have you reading tarot in no time. In fact, you probably already are reading them, and all I'm going to do is say, hey, you're a natural reader. Can you do me a reading right now? I just hit everybody up for readings. And it's exactly what you said, Angela. Once we get, intuition is intuition. We all have intuition. It's once we start relating it to, a particular style of communication or a particular style of reflection, it's having the confidence to be able to say, hey, I'm receiving this, how's that sitting with you? And the biggest barrier is in expecting somebody to validate that all the time. And you often don't get validation. But what you have to do is you have to stay strong and true, as Angela was saying, she is with her communication with her spirit guides and her connection to source, if you have faith and you know that that's a strong relationship, and you know that the information that you receive is the information you're receiving, you give it, it doesn't matter how it's received. I mean, it matters how you communicate it, because we should speak as we wish to be spoken to. That's kind of like my golden rule, my mantra. However, if somebody can't relate to it at this moment, they might relate to it later. It's you can't sort of always expect a positive validation or a positive sort of comeback. And that's hard. That's kind of like what happens is when you start to collect these little sort of positive feedbacks, which you need, right? So you end up, you read for your friends, you read for your family, you talk their ear off, you just pick as many cards as you like, or read as often as you like. And you'll find little by little your confidence picks up, because people are feeding back to you, hey, that thing that you said, that was real, that was like spot on. And then that's how your confidence grows. But I suspect you already have that. She's already quite intuitive, this lady.
She is very intuitive. I don't know if she knows it, but she is. Yeah, and what I say about what you were just talking about, Georgia, is when we're attached to the outcome of sort of how well the reading hits someone, that's our ego, and that's kind of a third dimensional aspect of human nature. And so it's a great idea to just put your ego to the outside, and not be attached to outcome. And it is hard, like Georgia said. It's why I teach psychic development the way that I do, so people can be in that real-time feedback loop all the time with their peers. And then I help them work on getting out into the world and sort of caring less about what people think about their readings that they're giving them, because they've already had a lot of practice and built their confidence. There are a lot of different ways to do that. As Georgia said, give readings to people you know, and that'll help. Definitely start with an intuition journal, and mark down sort of like what different symbols and signs mean to you, because that'll help you to understand what's coming through.
Journaling's important, and also spirit and the way that you receive information is very symbolic, right, Angela? I think you mentioned this too. It's like the way that you need to learn that internal language. The cards are very symbolic. You kind of need to take time to learn the symbolism, or if you're closing your eyes and tapping into the ethers, you need to understand what it is that you're being shown, so that you can say, hey, I'm seeing a horse and I feel this means that you're quite strong and wild and free, or whatever comes to you. But you kind of need to have this practice of sitting with the information that comes and then making sense of it as you get that feedback. And it's fun. That's the fun part, right?
It is, yeah. The subconscious mind speaks in pictures and sort of code, and so the clairvoyance piece is the most metaphoric. And so when you see something visually, it's coming from your subconscious and through your filters. So knowing what you associate with a horse is more important than understanding the universal knowledge of a horse, because it's coming through your filters of your subconscious. But I think you're very clairvoyant, Casey, and clairaudient, because I see you sitting back when you're reading cards. And you're hearing spirit. When we hear spirit, it's one of the most direct forms of intuition. I find it's very literal. So I see you using that to clarify your readings for people.
It doesn't mean that you're psychotic. It means that you are, you're sometimes the hearing is also like a thought, right? Because it's not like somebody standing there speaking to you. It's just that you're hearing a thought that isn't your own, essentially. It's a communication through you from a spirit, an energy.
Right. And it can be, you're right. It tends to be inside your head. It's closer to clairaudience or claircognizance than it is to hearing.
That's right.
In a lot of ways, it's sort of like a combination of, you might see a word and hear somebody saying it in the back of your head. Sometimes you'll hear a disembodied voice. Like a lot of people, when they're developing, will be in that liminal state between sleep and wake, and they'll hear the doorbell ring, or they'll hear someone calling their name and they'll wake up, right? And that's clairaudience too, but it's, when you're hearing it for confirmation, it can be in your own voice or someone else's. But it's hearing the voice in the back of your head. Just like Georgia said, if you're hearing a voice saying anything nasty or mean to you, it's not a spirit guide. Spirit guides
that's when
admonishingly to you.
Yeah, that's right. So anything that you're hearing that's making you feel stressed, scared, and of course we're not mental health professionals, and I think we didn't start off with our disclaimer that we didn't want to answer any questions about health or was it lottery numbers
or legal situations, all of the above.
So we're essentially we're sort of reading the tarot. I have been reading the tarot, and we're tapping into our inner senses. And if I can just say, this is kind of like the ultimate disclaimer, meaning that your intuition and your inner guidance and your inner guru is the first guru you want to be listening to. Don't ever listen to what anyone else is giving to you and take that over your own intuition. What you want from a really good reading is to get validation for all of those things that you kind of feel were right there. It's like, yes, this feels right, this sounds right. And if something doesn't feel right, then you have to just completely block it out, or it'll come back later to you and it might sound right at some other time. But in that moment, you are your own best guru, and you are the one that holds your own power. It's really important to be self-empowered in this world of duality, really. You want to be at cause. You want to be at the place where you are manifesting that which you want. You don't want to feel that you are at the whim of everybody. Then you're in a victim consciousness or a lack consciousness. And I know, because I am often there, catch myself and, see if I can flip or what's the word, reframe something so that I can feel more empowered in the moment. And it's the same with readings. We get readings because we want, we want to validate our own intuition. I feel that's one of the best reasons to get a reading.
Agreed. And amen to everything you said.
Amen, amen. Here we go. Linda Drost says, I love you, Angela. Can I just say, on this Valentine's Day Eve, I just want to persist my love for Angela. We have known one another such a long time. We were instant friends, like instant buddies. And sometimes Valentine's Day is just letting your friends know how much you love them, right? And
thank you, Georgia. I love you too. Right back at you.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who has been coming to and attending and watching the show and is here, who I know are good friends of mine, good friends of Angela's. Really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for tolerating a 2-month absence. And I'm just so happy to be back. I love you. It's Valentine's Day. I love you. I love you. I love you. And look at this question. How can I better deal with my emotions so that I can heal from recent relationships and move forward in a more positive way? What a great question.
Beautiful question. Linda, I'm a huge advocate of grounding, whether it's for intuitive development or for emotional healing. One of the best things we can do for ourselves is be sort of more fully present and fully embodied in our body and be grounded, connected to the earth. It's really easy for us to get sort of disconnected from the earth and the energies of the earth. And I find that that's when we have a harder time with our big emotions, is if we're not seated and grounded on the earth. So I would encourage you to ground and better deal with my emotions so that I can heal. It's really important to process what you've been through, but you don't want to over-process it. And this is, I think, a big sticking point for people often with emotional processing and self-healing, is we don't necessarily hold ourselves accountable for really letting stuff go after we've processed it. And so what I recommend is really make sure you're grounded, process your emotions from a really grounded state, allow yourself to be in your body. Whether it's processing this recent relationship stuff or if it's old stuff, because old stuff might come up and release, right? You might have the feelings of something that happened 15 years ago. Acknowledge it and allow it to release. But what I recommend to people is be prepared with a list of about 10 to 20 things that make you really happy. And when you're going to process and then ground and process and release, you want to set the timer. It doesn't matter whether it's 20 minutes or 2 hours or 2 days, but hold yourself accountable. When that timer goes off, you want to have that list at the ready of things that bring you joy and help you feel love. And you want to distract yourself and focus only on those things. Like, you don't want to go back and revisit the thoughts and the emotions that you've already processed and you're working on releasing. I think that's where most people get tripped up, is we end up ruminating on it again, and then we sort of pull it back in, and we're thinking about it again and thinking about it again and thinking about it again. It's fine to think about it for as long as you need to, but hold yourself accountable. And when you're letting it go, really shift your focus and feed yourself with other things that help raise your vibration and help you feel happier. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that. When I got a vision of Linda encapsulating the conversation of this relationship, or at least the emotions attached to the relationship, and it was like a big speaking bubble, in a cartoon. So when you were saying, give it its space and time and processing, but encapsulate it so that it's not spilling out over, and you've contained it in a way, right? And I think, Linda, you're more than capable of doing that. Sometimes we don't realize how strong we are until we've been through something. So I think you're going to feel like a completely different person once you've done this. And the advice and the information coming through you, Angela, about how to do it, that's just fantastic.
It feels
it's just genius. It's so simple. You put a line in the sand. It's just like, of course, we don't do that. We forget.
Yeah, have boundaries. Those are internal boundaries, essentially.
Yeah, internal boundaries.
We have boundaries with people outside, but not inside.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like there's a sort of an abandonment / rejection wound that was triggered by this relationship ending. You just sort of feel like this person doesn't like you, kind of like how you might have felt when you were 2 or 3 or 4 when a friend rejected you. And so really honor the wound and recognize what's been triggered. And also what Spirit's showing, in addition to what Georgia offered, is visualize any way that you want to kind of get rid of this stuff. I see you like writing down what you think and feel and tying it to a rock and throwing it in a lake.
Very important.
Throwing it in a lake, and just so you can visualize yourself doing any of that. Throw it in the ocean in a bottle, right? Any of that stuff to really kind of offload it and then turn to what makes you happy.
Awesome. Oh, I love that. Wonderful, Linda. We've got some more questions. Sandra Case, please forgive me if I'm pronouncing.
Hi, Sandra.
Love to hear from her mum.
Excellent.
Get mum in.
Sandra, she shows up laughing. She's like, ha, 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 ha. I'm glad she wanted to hear from me. She's funny. She looks like she's having a good time. She's kind of partying on the other side. And she says, don't worry, honey, you'll be at concerts in no time.
I got her having a good sense of humor too. I got them quite she's actually quite similar to you. I mean,
agreed.
I almost felt like I was looking at you, sort of just a little bit older twin.
Exactly. That's the way I felt it too. I feel like you guys are very similar and like to have fun in the same ways. Yeah, she's blowing you a kiss, Sandra. Like a big lippy kiss, smoochy kiss, lots of saliva.
And red lipstick on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I see her like out at a concert and it's loud and she's having a good time.
Oh, wonderful.
She says you'll be there soon too. Not on the other side, but at a concert.
Oriel O'Neill.
Hi, Oriel.
I sense that there is someone out there soon for me, but how do I meet him during this semi-isolated time?
What I see you doing, Oriel, I'm really glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Is I see you sitting down and imagining the qualities that he'll have and kind of daydreaming while you're working about the qualities. You're right. I feel like you've been connecting to his higher self. You can kind of sense him coming and then you think about it. You sort of fantasize about it. And so really consider what it is that you would like to say to his higher self. So I see you sitting in meditation, having this conversation, your higher self calling in his higher self and dialoguing with his higher self. And I get the feeling that that's going to draw him nearer to you. And it's somewhat isolated right now, but it's not, I'm hearing grocery store. It's almost like if you're at the market or if you're out doing an errand, he'll be there. Like you'll turn around and he'll be there and you guys will kind of look at each other and start talking. And so my sense is that he's very close to you. And you can draw him in closer by speaking to his higher self and really just dismiss any of the mindset that says that you can't meet anyone right now. Be in the positive mindset that, as you've stated here, that you sense that he's close and open up to whatever form he'll come in. He could be a delivery guy. He could be a postman. You never know.
I've got that. I've got exactly the same thing. I see you scanning the environment for him. It's like one of those gold detectors. Doot, doot, doot. And that's actually really good because you're not going to miss him when he turns up. So I think trust that part of yourself that you are on it. And it's not an energy that pushes away because there's an excitement there and an anticipation that's there. And that's the best energy to have around anything that's coming to you. Not an expectation, which is different, right? It's an anticipation. It's an anticipatory excitement, just to like, oh, so good, because it's a good feeling state. It's not a state which is, well, where is he? that's very different. It's a shutting down state. It's like a, oh my goodness, I know he's coming. I can feel him really close. It's just so exciting. I'm really super excited for you, Ariel.
Yeah, as Georgia says that, Oriel, I think that you might meet him through work. I don't know if you're still working or not. But one of the things Spirit's saying is you're going to get really hot and flustered when he comes around. Like that's one of the ways you're going to
Oh
know
my
he's
God, he's
near.
here.
So yeah, it's like he walks up to your desk and starts talking to you, and you're like, I think I'm having a hot. Am I having a hot flash? One of these. But it's him, and then I just see you like a schoolgirl getting kind of all bashful and flushed when he comes around. So you'll feel the heat quite literally when he comes around.
You'll
Enjoy
know.
it.
This is wonderful. Isn't that great to know that you'll know, right? There'll be no doubt. Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.
Enjoy him.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on. This is awesome. Energyintoit.com, AngelaBixby.com, GeorgiaMarentos.com,
Woohoo! Hi, Karina.
Alfred.com.
Sorry.
Do you know Karina? She's
I
gorgeous.
do. She's beautiful. Yes.
I'd love some insight on what is happening with me physically. I just went through traumatic surgery. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. And I'm in recovery and I can't help to feel scared. Oh, love. How about we check in for you, Karina? Physically. Whew.
So I'm sorry to hear that you've gone through that, first and foremost. And we're usually pretty careful about physical health, but I know you. And so I know that we can talk about this with you and it's going to kind of come through in the right way. What I'm being shown is that you have sort of a lot of people, including your family that you come from, that are kind of affecting your right hip. There's a lot of energy from people that you love in your right hip. And it feels like that's a little bit of the source of some of the lack of balance that you have right now. I would encourage you to kind of meditate while you're recovering and picture that your energy fields are balancing, that your chakras are balancing, the layers of your aura are balancing. And I think that's going to be one of the fastest ways for you to bring your body back into balance and homeostasis in your cells and organs and things that are healing right now. But I can see and feel the fear, and I'm really sorry for that. But I would sort of picture meeting it and transmuting it. I recommend Tonglen meditation. It's a Tibetan Buddhist meditation.
Can you say that again?
Tonglen.
How
Yeah,
do you pronounce it?
Tonglen. Tonglen. And it's one of my favorite meditations, Tibetan Buddhist practices for when there's something that really scares you. Right? It's the best way to kind of neutralize and transmute the fear. You kind of meet it head on as a way to kind of dissipate how much power it has over you. Because I do feel that this is more, I understand and recognize there are physical things going on, but I think that the fear is really activated. And so I would recommend you reducing the fear with that sort of practice.
Yes. And how about right now? Because we are in a room full of healers. We're going to all collectively, and we're going to do it with your higher self, knowing that we're sending you energy that you can handle, and that this is only in the highest vibrational love and light. We're going to send you some love right now to help you move through this fear. I'm going to send you something called a Prima Agni. Everybody's going to send their own version, but this is, I'm going to draw a symbol and send it to you. It's very heart opening. Here we go.
Yeah, and I'm seeing you whole and healed and sleeping really deeply so that your body can nourish itself and rest and relax. Ground also, there's a lack of energy flow in your feet and your legs. So make sure that you're grounding as you move through your days.
I want to add, I hope the energy helps. I certainly feel a lot calmer having sent it. So I know that the energy is real, that at least we've sent your way. Karina, I saw before Angela started speaking about your hip area, I don't know where your surgery was, but I saw it impact into your chest. And this feels like this is the, if there was an emotional, stressful event that happened before the surgery or sometime in your life that either you've ruminated on or has been up at the forefront of your mind, that created, sometimes we create, and let's say, big events that happen in our life are obviously big karmic events, right? These are things we've either put into our contract to experience in our life so that we can come more fully into our spiritual path and into our light being and into empowering ourselves, right? Because we know that you're going to find your self-empowerment through this. We know that you're going to overcome the fear. We know that you're going to recover and that you're going to understand how it is and why this event happened in your life, because you have the opportunity, right? You're in amongst peers, people who live their life this way, who take what has happened in their life and look at it in a positive way. How can I harness the energy of this event to create something even more beautiful in my life? So you're going to achieve this. And what I was being shown, and there was an emotional event that somehow had something to do with this. And I don't know if this is something you already know about, Angela, if you've had readings with Karina, but this is what I would, if we had a session that we would try to pick apart, what is the root cause of the thinking and emotion behind the underlaying of this? Because if we are to believe, I'm glad you brought up the Tibetans, if we are to believe what the Buddha said, this is the Dhammapada, these are the words of the Buddha. With our thoughts, we create our life. That's why your question is just so amazing, right? So you want some insight into what is happening to you physically. Well, actually, as soon as I read that, I thought you were asking, how is my thinking affecting me physically? And so, therefore, I'm just filling out this answer. This is kind of where the key lies. The key lies in your thinking and your feeling, because we create the world with our thoughts, and with our thoughts we experience emotion, or the two are interlaid together, right? Thoughts and emotion, they're separate, but they sometimes come together. So that's where the answers lie for you, and it would help to have somebody tease them with you and for you, because you're obviously dealing with a lot right now.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, to your point of thoughts and emotions, thoughts are one of the fastest moving energies because they're the air element, and emotions are the slowest moving element because they're like tied to water.
And
so,
how
yeah,
long
remembering
to
that.
go away.
Exactly. And so remembering that for Karina and for
all of
the
us.
woman Irina, I think, well, all of us. Yeah. When
Yeah.
you're processing things, sometimes you feel the emotions, your emotional body will respond longer than your thoughts do. But it's having faith that as you
Linda.
continue,
Yeah,
to work with your thoughts, it's going to dissipate that emotional body over time.
Yeah. And to, allow us, give ourselves the understanding that it takes a little longer. But like you said, put the line in the sand. It's like, I understand it's going to take a long time, but we're not going to take forever. We're going to, we're going to give ourselves a limit. I love that. I'm going to use that. Thank you, Angela, for channeling that information. Karina,
feel better, Karina.
You feel better? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, what did I do there? Something. Oh, here it comes. Why did Jimmy go MIA, says Danielle. Asks Danielle. Let's have a look at Jimmy and Danielle.
I'm getting that Jimmy wants to be alone. Jimmy doesn't want to sort of be accountable to anyone. It's not just you. He's gone MIA from other people too.
I saw him going into the ocean, like running into the ocean. I don't know if he has some kind of death wish, or if he just wants to disappear in his own stuff, or he's trying to run away from it, actually, but he's just finding more of it. So we could all send Jimmy some love and healing right now. I think he could use it.
I do hear him coming back and saying he's sorry for going MIA.
Sometimes people's leaving gives us permission to look at our stuff, doesn't it? Because they leave this vacuum, right? And if we don't spend all that time kind of yearning for them to come back, but we start looking at our stuff and just kind of start, what's that word when you're kind of putting everything into place and saying, oh, okay, that belongs to me, not to that person, or it doesn't, this is mine. And I think in his absence, not just you, but I think other people are going to realize, because I feel like he's missing in action while he's dealing with what he's dealing with. He's also a service to those that he was engaging with. I tell you why, because I'm so used to reading things that I see pictures of, but I was attracted to this picture of Hanuman. And Hanuman, right, his love for Rama, When Sita and Rama had a child who was sick, I think it was, and Hanuman ran to get the herbs from the mountain, but then brought the whole mountain because of his love. He wanted to do everything he possibly could. So I feel that there's a service in him being missing in action, and it has to be for your good, right? If we're to say that the higher soul, our soul chooses these experiences in our life for us to learn from, right? And if we don't learn from it this time, we create another experience so that we can learn it next time. It's okay. We don't lose every opportunity. Sometimes it comes back, whether it's this lifetime or another lifetime. But we want to get it this lifetime. We want to understand and learn our lessons this lifetime and connect to our higher purpose for why did he go missing in action, but what does that mean for you? How is it serving you? That's what I wanted to bring up when I saw Hanuman bringing us the mountain of herbs.
Beautiful.
We've been channeling source. We've been explaining the dimensions. We've been talking about our purpose in life, and it all weaves in through all the questions we ask, right? Chessa
Absolutely.
Bota, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. It's the 4th anniversary of my sister's passing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Chesapeake.
Sorry.
It makes the day a bit bittersweet. Let's see if we can tap in. You said any comments, right? So I'm just going to close my eyes for a little while Angela maybe taps in quickly. I love how quick you work, Angela. I love it. Love it.
Thank you. I'm blessed. I have a stellium of Virgo in my chart, which Mercury rules Virgo, so I'm a lot of Virgo, so I have a lot of fast communication. And I talk fast, as you all have noticed, so it's just kind of part of who I am. So I'm glad it works for you. I see her waving to you. She looks like she. I know your name is Chesapeake Boater, but she's standing in front of a boat by the water in a bathing suit, and she's waving, and she wants you to know that she's okay, and she misses you, and she loves you, is what she says. She says, she's not saying blue, don't be low. I think she's saying, don't be low. Come on, let's have fun. You can have
Yes.
fun just by thinking of me, and I will dance with you.
Oh my gosh.
I see you really, I see you really sad, Chesapeake Boater, like laying on a table and crying, right? Because it's a hard time for you. As you said, you're grieving and it's a death anniversary and they're no fun, but she wants you to get up and dance and joy. She's
Oh
handing
my
you
Lord.
yellow flowers. They look like, I would call them gardenias, which I think are white, but they look like that and they're yellow. And she's trying to get you to dance. And I'm hearing that song, Put the Lime in the Coconut.
Yes.
And so she wants you, she wants you to kind of like dance and think about fun. Perhaps you guys went to an island together. I see her wearing like a lei of these flowers.
I'm seeing
And so
this.
she's just really encouraging you to try to be in the joy that she was and be in the joy of who she was and be in the joy of the good memories that you have and know that she lives on always and she's with you forever and always. She says, I love you, sis.
I'm seeing her in like a holiday or a vacation sort of picture, and she's just come off the boat, and she's a little heavy set, but not not super overweight. She's just like, there's just a lot of her there, and she's showing me she's like, moving her boobs and shaking it, and she's having a lot of fun. She's like, yeah, just have fun like me. It's everything you were saying. I'm like, we're seeing the same person. I'm just like a dark curly hair. I don't know if that's exactly. I'm just seeing a very clear picture of her, and she's really wanting you to have fun with her, right? She's kind of like having fun in spirit and sharing that energy with you. So don't be sad, be joyous is her message to you, and I feel like that's really, really important. They want us to be in the vibration that they're in all the time, and if we can elevate ourselves to that, then we feel so much better, because then they can take us with them, right? Because that's a much better vibration to be in than the one that we can get dragged into with our emotions and our low vibrational thinking sometimes. So remember to do that, to tap into her and to tap. She's got her lei on, she's got her dance shoes on. She's like ready to party.
Pardon me. I'm sorry, George. I didn't mean to
No,
step on your
please.
words.
No, you can talk over me.
Thank you, Chesapeake Boater. I see you taking a single red rosebud and kind of like putting it on an altar and honoring her tomorrow and feeling a lot more up about it being a death anniversary for you.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, wishing you the best. Thank you, Chesapeake. Erin, a bright, bright soul, amazing painter, amazing mum of two boys. Here we go, Erin.
Beautiful.
She has a
Hi,
comment.
Erin.
I recently found some old drawings that seem to very accurately have predicted the future. I think I've done a few psychic paintings too. I bet you have.
Yes. Yes. That's how you channel. You channel images. I see what I'm seeing specifically is like some buildings. It's almost like you channeled a building that wasn't there and then it was built near where you live. But yeah, that's absolutely the way that you channel things through. I just keep seeing you standing in front of an easel and sort of seeing things in your mind's eye and painting them. And then
And
you
she's
see them when you go
amazing.
places.
You look
That's
up
awesome.
Erin's painting. So she's on my friends list on
Okay.
Facebook if you ever sort
Okay.
of have any spare time. But her most recent painting, which I remember looking at it, Erin, and you had like this extra person in there, and it was like this woman with blonde hair. And I'm like, who is this woman? And I just realized it's your mother in spirit in this painting. I mean, it really does look like her light body as you see her
Wow.
now in spirit in your painting. I mean, it's just amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations, Erin. I hope people commission you for a painting.
What I like to say about artists and creative expression is intuition and creative expression, and no disrespect, Aaron, mental illness all hang out in the same places in the brain. It's kind of amazing. I had, before I got into this work years ago, 20 or so years ago, she's passed at a relative by marriage. She was an artist and she was also schizophrenic, unfortunately. But she did this whole body of work and she was a modern artist and worked in kind of mixed media etchings on glass and photographs and things. And she was due to have an artist reception for a body of her work near where I live on September 12th, 2001. She was in the mental hospital at the time, unfortunately, so she wasn't there. But they ended up canceling the reception because all of her artwork that she had been working on for over a year were pictures of airplanes crashing into buildings. And
Oh, wow.
so, you know, we're all prophets. We're all psychic in some way or another, right? We're all intuitive. And so we're all constantly channeling, especially when we're meditating and we're connecting to our intuition, creative expression, creating art. It's all coming from, you know, the ethers and all these other realms and dimensions and source. And so keep doing what you're doing. It from what I can see of your work, it's beautiful. I'm
It
sure
is
it's beautiful.
beautiful.
I
And
look
a
forward to
happy.
looking at it. Yeah, but you really have a special gift for that.
Wonderful. Well, we have
Mhm.
3 minutes to go, Angela. Do you think we could take one more question? What do you
Of
reckon?
course. Yeah, of course.
So, Isabella from the UK. Woohoo! First time watching. All right.
Nice.
Welcome, Isabella. I hope you're
Nice.
taking
Welcome.
down our websites and that we hear from you again. Here is the question. I'm going to show it, and then I have to cough because
I'll go ahead and handle. First time watching, would love to know if I will find love soon. Okay, I'm tuning in, Isabella. So I don't usually get this exciting and this fast, but I'm hearing yes, and I'm seeing you sort of like opening a Valentine. Not that it's going to happen tomorrow, but you'll soon be opening a Valentine from someone who is kind of professing their love for you. So yes, I feel like it's right around the corner. I see you actually literally reading something tomorrow, not from this person, but you're sort of like revisiting something. Perhaps it's a list of qualities that you'd like to have in this person. And you kind of like turn around and he's right behind you. So it's very, very, very soon, like within weeks, is my sense. Someone's coming into your life. Have fun.
oh, look, we've got Liz Dooley. Liz, I'm going to put you up. I hope you're still here. Liz is from Ireland, and it's probably something like midnight. So if you've gone to sleep, doesn't matter. Here we go. My brother's just passed recently. His name is Peter. He could never be his true self on this dimension. Any messages? All right, let's tap into Peter, and then we'll call it.
Yeah. Hi, Liz. I'm sorry for your loss. He's saying she's right. She's right. I'm happier now. I feel a lot freer now. Sorry. I hope that doesn't hurt to hear that. But he's saying he feels really free and he's happy to be free.
It was almost like there was a certain awkwardness between him and his life. He didn't quite seem to fit. You know, there was this kind of thing where there wasn't an ease of flow for him in life. And now he's got it's those things that you blow into with the confetti or something at a party. It's almost like he's celebrating now. He's just celebrating, and he doesn't have to feel that awkwardness anymore or that difficulty that he experienced. It was very sandpapery, very. It was really tough for him. Steve was showing me that.
Yeah, what he's saying to me is he'd rather fly with angels than walk with men. He just didn't feel like he fit in on this earth, and he is with angels, and he looks very happy, and he's learning. I see him actually walking with Jesus, the ascended master Jesus, and he's sort of learning a lot of lessons and taking a lot of high counsel and really working on evolving his soul. But he says he prefers the company of angels to men.
He has a gentle, gentle soul. Oh, my Lord. And he's very calm on this other side, Liz. So I really hope this gives you some solace to know that he's really come into his true self on the other side. And I sense that he's going to have either a life of service, or he's definitely, you just mentioned Jesus, right? So he might be training, with Jesus into a life of service when he comes back. And there's a sense that what he's learning is this sense of being empowered, a sense of self-empowerment to be who he really is without any fear of having to fit into anything on the outside.
Yeah, I agree, Georgia. He got tripped up being a human. I really feel that he had a higher calling to come down here, and he gave me a really big wave of sadness for a few moments. He feels guilty. He feels like he didn't do with his life on this earth what he was supposed to, because I do think that he had a calling to come down here and sort of like reality test what it's like to be in a human body again, to help humans. And he didn't necessarily feel that he achieved that. But as soon as he started to give me that sadness and that sort of guilt feeling, Jesus like swooped him up and walked with him and talked with him and is like, no, 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 no. We don't go there with our thoughts. You did beautifully. You had to learn these hard lessons. You will go back again. You will help humans. You will be an earth angel again.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He's waving to you from far away. He's like waving. He's like, hi. It's funny.
Hi, Liz. I think you and he, I get the feeling that you were very close, that there was like almost like twinship between you and he on a soul level, your souls knew each other very deeply. Oh, Liz, I send you so much love. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Happy, happy Valentine's Day, whichever way you choose to express your love for the other and for yourself tonight, the eve of, and tomorrow. Thank you so much, Angela, for joining me tonight. It's been
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. It's been an honor to share the love with you through messages from Spirit. Thank you, Georgia, for the opportunity. It's been a joy.
Oh, I love you. And continue doing the magic that you do. And just know, if you want to catch Angela, be quick, because she books up very quickly. And make sure you find her at energyintuit.com or angelabixby.com. And her email, one last time, is angela@energyintuit. This is the email I use, right, to get on. This is your mail. .com. And you'll see next week. Did we choose our charity? We didn't choose our charity. How about we choose it next week? And Liz, happy love-filled day, Georgia. You are the epitome of love. So are you, Liz. And that was before we started. He was a twin.
Nice pull, Georgia. Yeah, I saw that. Nice pull, Georgia.
Ah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Yes, she was still here. For sure an angel, she says. For sure an angel. Well, you guys must have been triplets. Okay. Have a great night.
Bye.
See you next week.
Blessings all. Bye.